Hi, I'm Dave Monty. Welcome to my video series, Everything Villages. Today, we're going to talk about the two completely separate real estate markets in the villages and who you should work with if you're a buyer and who you should work with if you're listing your home. So stay tuned. Before we get started, if you like this video, please hit like. If you like my channel, please subscribe to it. Both of those actions help these videos reach more people, and I greatly appreciate it. Also, most of the topics that I do cover in my videos are in my free 42-page guide, Buying and Selling a Home in the Villages. If you'd like your free copy, just email me right here at davemontysales@gmail.com, and I'll send you out a free copy. Please check out some of my other videos, too. I have calculators for different real estate functions that you might perform here in the villages, and if you want any of those, you can email me here as well. Okay. As I stated in the introduction, we are going to talk about the two completely separate real estate markets here in the villages. If you are going to list your home, you have an option of listing with a realtor or with the villages. And those two markets don't mix, meaning as a realtor, I can't sell new homes or any resale home that is listed with the villages, and vice versa. The villages agents can't sell any homes that are listed on the MLS or through a realtor. Just to give you a breakdown of the numbers, about 79% of all resale homes are with a realtor. In the villages, about 21% of the resale homes and all the new homes. Now, the villages has more homes for sale, mainly because they sell about 4,000 homes a year here, which is a crazy number. All right. So for a buyer, and if you're a buyer and you don't want to listen to the listing stuff, this video is done for you. For a buyer, you must work with both a realtor and a villages agent. In my office, I kind of get ribbed a little bit for actually making this recommendation. A lot of realtors will not let you know that there's two separate markets here because they covet every little buyer that they get. Fortunately, because of my YouTube channel, I have a lot of buyers. And in my opinion, the best thing to do for my clients is to let them know that they should be working with two agents. Right? In fact, probably 70% of all my clients end up buying through the villages, mainly because they gravitate towards new homes. The very first question I ask my clients when I get them on the phone is, are you working with a villages agent? And if they're not, I make an introduction to one. I work with a guy over there who does a fantastic job. He and I don't compete with one another. I mean, I call it cooperation, right? So yes, we kind of compete with one another, but we don't pressure our clients in any one way. We're happy for each other when either one of us sells a home, and it's whatever's best for the client. So, and that's my attitude, is that it's a lot of money. It's your house. You've got to live in it. And if you find a better fit for you on the villages side, I'm happy for you, and you call me up, and I get that call. I've been scared to make this phone call, and I'm like, you know, the only words you're going to hear out of me if you buy from the villages is congratulations. Do you need any help with anything? Okay, so for buyers, you just need to have an agent that's a realtor and one that's with the villages, and you're done. If you don't want to listen to the rest of it, you can take off. So the next question is, who should you list your home with? Well, as a realtor, obviously, I'm going to say it's with a realtor, but I'm going to back it up with some numbers, and I'm also going to back it up with what the villagers typically do. The educated or experienced villagers are picking realtors. They're not going with the developer. And that's the punchline that I just ruined, but I'll get to that slide. A lot of it has to come down with focus. What's the focus of a villages agent? Well, I estimate, and again, I don't have the exact numbers here, but I tried to triangulate this number from a couple of different places. On about 660 resale homes are sold through the villages each year. And I've already said this. They sell 4,000 new homes. Only 14% of their time is spent on resales versus new homes. So the villages agents are focused on selling new homes. They got to sell 4,000 homes a year. The developer just zoned for 75,000 new homes. So obviously their focus is going to be on selling new homes. And it's actually much easier to sell a new home because you go in and see that beautiful model, and you fall in love with the model and the design center and the whole experience, and Like I said, a lot of my clients end up buying new homes, which is perfectly fine. Okay, but if you're going to list a home, you want to be somewhere where you're 100% focused. The MLS side, we sell about 2,000 homes, give or take, each year. But 100% of our focus is in the resale market. So we know the resale market, we know the resale buyer, and we know how to market for resale homes. Okay? Now, I'm not going to get into all the marketing aspects of this other than, the main one. Serious buyers are searching online and they're working with an agent. So 93% of all buyers start online. And where do they start? Are they going to start here? Well, maybe if they happen to live in the villages and they know the villages sells homes, they might be here. But I guarantee that 90% of them, 90% of that 93% are starting with Realtor.com or Zillow, because we actually, as realtors, kind of compete against these websites slightly. I don't want to get into that, but most of people are starting with these websites. So when I list a home, I put it on the Stellar MLS that gets to all the other agents out there. And remember, serious buyers are working with agents. So when they go to look for homes, this is the website that I use in order to search for homes that I'm going to show my clients. Okay? Now, the MLS pushes to these websites. Over 100 sites online that are dedicated to showing listings. Pretty much any realtor out there across the country is connected into their MLS. So this basically will push to every single realtor in the area into their website as well. Okay, so do you think there's more traffic here, or do you think there's more traffic there? So my vote is there's more traffic here. Okay. The second thing to take a look at is the rigidity of the contracts. Now, on the MLS, I have complete flexibility as an agent to do pretty much what I want as far as what commission rates are, the length of the contract, what termination fees are, etc. So I fail very squarely on the side of my client rather than try to hold them into a contract. I let my clients out of contracts. I'm actually going to get to that as part of my strategy. Okay? So the last thing I ever want to have is a home's been on the market for 4 months and they go, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And they're telling their neighbors, hey, I've been listing with Dave and this house isn't selling. I don't know what he's doing. Never want to get to that point. So I'd actually rather let you out of the contract with no strings attached. On the villages side, over the last couple of years, they've gotten a little bit less rigid with their contracts, but they're still pretty rigid because they were losing so many listings to realtors. Used to be locked in for 6 months. Now I've heard that they actually will allow, under certain circumstances, to go down to a 3-month listing. You have to go to the end of the contract. There's no getting out of the contract for the duration of that duration that you signed up for. They have a $2,000 cancellation fee. And from what I understand, it's actually an escalating cancellation fee. So the longer it stays on the market, the harder it is for you to get out of the contract. So by the way, I'm not doing a good job for you, and because it's been sitting on the market forever, and the longer it sits on the market, the more I'm going to charge you to get out of the contract. To me, that doesn't quite make sense. So there's some rigidity to their contract. So if you want maximum visibility through the MLS, through all those other websites, flexible contracts, okay, then MLS is the way to go. Now, I've already kind of, like I said, threw out my punchline, which was that about 80% of all the listings are through the MLS or Realtor versus the villages. I actually thought before I did this video that they had a majority, like 80% of the listings down in the newest sections, and I was wrong. So here are all the listings in the villages. Now, if you didn't know anything about this market and you didn't know there were two separate markets, there's a couple things you can learn from this. Number one is up north are where most of the sales are. That's where the older homes are. That's where the retirees are a little bit older. And the number of listings dwindles as you go south because those are newer retirees, younger retirees, and they're not quite ready to sell their home. So the number of resales way up north where the older homes are is much greater than the number of resales down here. If I take a look at the VLS, okay, now it's hard to see down here, okay, but they maybe have 13 homes for sale down here. Many fewer homes as of today on the market for the villages, and these are resale homes. You know, they're going to have This would just be one big red square down there if they listed all of their new homes on there. Okay, so again, on the VLS, your resale home is competing against the new homes when people are looking for homes. We don't have that issue on the MLS. And remember what I said here. So here, there's a total of 31 homes currently on the market. 46% of those are with a realtor. Okay, that just means that the Villages has 54% of the market down there. I actually was surprised by that. I thought they'd have 80% down here. But it just goes to show that even with the brand new people moving into the Villages, they're more placing their trust on the MLS side. And the further north you go, the longer the Villages have been here, the greater that percentage gets. I thought this was going to be 50-50 between 466A and Highway 44. And we, the MLS, the realtors on this side, get 63%. 83% between 466 and 466A, and way up north, almost 90% of all the listings up north. So experienced villagers pick realtors. Done. Experienced villagers pick realtors. Now, regardless of who you pick, this is going to sound weird, you will not reach all buyers. Okay, so there are people who work with realtors who don't know that there's a VLS, like we talked about in the first slide, and vice versa. And there's people who work with the Villages and don't realize that there's an MLS. So depending on who you work with. My goal has always been in sales was to work incredibly hard at being lazy. And meaning I try to make things as efficient as possible. I also don't like going head to head with my competition all the time. That is an arduous task. If I'm drawing up a football play, I'm not going to go at their strongest player. I'm going to look for holes in the line that I'm going to send my running back through. Kind of the same thing whenever I look at a sales territory, regardless if I was selling IT years ago and now selling real estate, is where can I go or what can I do a little bit different that no one else is doing? Okay, so how can I, instead of fight against this market, the two markets here, how do I take advantage of it? Okay? So let's take a look. This is MLS traffic. And there's a couple things to learn from here. Like I said in a couple slides ago, you might not see, regardless of who you list with, all of the buyers. You have buyers who are searching on the VLS up north, who might not even be working with a realtor yet. Okay? They might be working with a realtor, but not working with a Villages agent. And you will see the people that are working with both. Okay? If I take a look at the VLS, same sort of traffic portfolio, and I'm going to get to what these graphs mean here in a second. You're going to get the people who are working with both people and the people who are working with the Villages. Okay? So a majority of people know that there's two markets here, but there is a decent percentage who don't. What this graph is intended to show is that when you first put a home on the market, these are the views or showings that you have, a majority of them happen in the first day or two and then start to die off after about a week. And after about a week and a half, it really starts to die off here. So you put your home up on the MLS as an example here, you get a ton of traffic and then it dies off slowly. But are you stuck in a contract? If you go with the MLS, you're not stuck in a contract. You've got a pretty flexible contract. So instead of, again, working against the market, I allow my clients to get out after 2 months if they choose to. Okay? I will sign a 6-month contract, but I have a handshake agreement. Handshake agreement is if you want to get out, you can get out. And I don't have any cancellation fee, and I put some air quotes, and I'll explain that here in a second. Okay? But the advantage to the person listing their home is they get another bump in traffic. Now, I made this a little bit smaller because some of these people right here have already seen it and they might go through and go, oh, that's interesting that it moved over here. I'm still not interested in going to look at that house. I already looked at it. Okay, but the goal here is to get another bump in traffic at about that 2-month mark. And now for the duration, you're now locked into the Villages. And remember, you can only do this in one direction. You can't do it where you go from the VLS as a rigid contract. You got to start on the MLS side. There's a flexibility to the contract. We can do a length of contract 4 weeks, 8 weeks. I like to do about 2 months, 6 weeks to 8 weeks. And then allow you to get out of the contract cancellation free. Now, what I mean by cancellation fee and not having a cancellation policy. That's if you work with the agent that I work with over at the Villages. The reason is I have sunk cost in any listing, like you pay for cleaning up of the house. We might stage it for you. We definitely take pictures. All of those things are already done. So I have an agreement with my guy over there. He doesn't give me a referral fee, but he pays me for the pictures. Okay? And he pays me for the cleaning. So I don't lose too much money. I lose time and a little bit of money if the home doesn't sell. Okay, but if you use my guy on the other side, then there's no cancellation fee. Okay. That's it. That's the strategy. I mean, obviously the experienced villagers pick the MLS, which I would say do anyway, but why ride all the way down here for months on end if your home isn't selling? Get a fresh set of eyes on it. So if I'm selling my home here, again, looking for an advantage, it's like, okay, let's put it on the MLS, and if it doesn't work out, then we can always move it over to the VLS. Okay? Listings don't get stale, and you reach all possible buyers. Okay? So hopefully that gave you some insight onto what the two markets are here. They are two completely separate markets. We can't go and sell homes on each other's listings. And, it can be confusing for buyers, but if you stuck through as a buyer, just know that you just need to work with two different agents. I happen to have a good working relationship with an agent over there where it's a completely no pressure situation for our clients, and we actually coordinate showings and everything. If you're going to list your home, rather than take my word for it, go back to it. 80% of all the homes listed as a resale here in the Villages are listed with a realtor. So I hope you found this informative. Again, a couple of housekeeping items are back on the other end. If you'd like my free guide, buying and selling a home at the Villages, just email me right here at davemontysales@gmail.com. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. I hope to be seeing you around the Villages. Take care.